minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this hearing today. And let me just acknowledge and thank all the witnesses for your valuable testimony today on this important topic related to restaurants and what we need to be doing. You know, looking back to the spring when we passed the PPP program as part of the stimulus relief, it's probably the best thing that we did in terms of helping the economy. It was really a lifeline in my district to small businesses, whether those are restaurants and bars or manufacturers. And we did it in a bipartisan way, and it's been immensely successful. And I think the frustrating part, and everybody on this call has expressed it, on why we can't do that again, why we can't have some type of revised or reformed PPP type program. And I look at businesses that continue to struggle and will continue to struggle until we get a vaccine or a cure or a treatment. And I know many of my colleagues share the same thing, but I look at the hospitality industry, the travel industry, lodging industry, gyms and workout facilities, banquet facilities, music venues, and of course, restaurants, as everybody has articulated today. But these are all entities that will not come back fully until we get a cure or a vaccine or a treatment. So the head scratcher is why we can't come together to have a revised PPP type program that helps your industry and all these other industries, and do that in a type of loan program that extends out the next 6 to 9 months. And I look at my state of Illinois and see that many of these restaurants and other entities are not going to make it the next 6 to 9 months through the winter and through the rough time that is ahead. And so why we can't come together again with something we already did in the spring and set a formula on how this can work. I know that's what the hearing today is about, but we ought to be able to put politics aside and do this for the betterment of the restaurant industry and the country on this. And as we've seen with a number of pieces of legislation that have been introduced, we ought to scale it down and look at what's most important. And the restaurant industry and small businesses and these disproportionately affected businesses or targeted businesses, however you want to look at it, that's what we ought to be focused on. And unfortunately, when you look at how many other things get added to these bills, but I for one, believe we ought to prioritize what I just mentioned. And if we put that on the floor, it would pass overwhelmingly. It would pass the Senate, in my view. So let's focus on that and try to do that here in the next week while we have time before the election to do it. And I would be supportive of that moving forward. I want to move to a couple questions here. Melvin, I wanted to just ask you, we've heard a lot about the safety and public health of workers in the restaurant industry. And obviously, different states have had different policies. The state of Illinois have been very frustrated with our governor, who's had kind of a one-size-fits-all approach to the state. The area that I represent in Illinois is a rural area, medium-sized cities, but the governor's had a one-size-fits-all for the entire state. And obviously, the concern for health and safety is first and foremost. Can you talk a little bit, Melvin, about the different states and the restrictive policies that have been put in place and how that's affected the restaurant industry, and any suggestions you would have on that?
Yes, thank you, Congressman. First and foremost, I appreciate your thoughts on PPP. Another round would be really a lifeline to many, many businesses. Specific to your question on the policies of different states, it's been extremely difficult to navigate. Here in New Orleans, the mayor has taken a different tack than the governor. Both have valid approaches, but they're different. And so it has created a lot of confusion and difficulty for operators. And if you think about it in the context of, every business, the certainty that they have for operations is what they need. When there's uncertainty because you don't know what the policy is going to be or what the restriction is going to be, and we're not getting those in advance, then it's difficult to build towards it. I think everyone has embraced the PPE, and everyone is taking it extremely seriously as operators. Enhanced protocols, et cetera, those are positives, and we've gotten that. And I think there's good communication on it and a general theme on how to attack that. But capacities and larger gatherings when it comes to receptions for people's weddings and things of that nature, which are huge for food and beverage. And
Thank you. The gentleman's time has expired. Ms. Delbaney,